Also, if you want to find my own YouTube channel, it's YEMIPWORLD, Yemi P World. That's my YouTube channel. If you want to see also episodes of previous conversations we've had. So please, when you get there on Voice of People, on mine, whatever it is, just make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe, and let's keep building this community of grateful people together. So I'm saying that, in all honesty, I don't think there's anything called failure. In fact, who told you that you failed? Who told you that you failed? That's the truth. Because the thing that you call failure, in its real sense, is not failure. Because if it was failure, the young man called Joseph would not have gotten to the palace. Because he had different levels of failure. Different levels of failure. From home, outside, at work, it seemed like nothing was working for him. He was a multi-talented young man, highly skilled man. Scripture even said the Lord was with him. Yet that man kept on doing what? Failing again and again and again and again by the world standard. By the world standard. So the things that you are doing that it seems like is not working, that you think, oh, you have failed and you are crying and wailing, they are not actually failure. You are the one that have called them failure. You are the one that termed them failure. You are the one that decided that this thing, no. Just because you look around you and you see others that are probably your mates doing that thing, and you think you should be doing it also. So listen, everything in life is meaningless until you give it a meaning. Did you hear what I just said? Everything in life absolutely is meaningless until you give it a meaning. And that meaning is a function of your perspective about life. That meaning is a function of the database of your knowledge, how much you know. That meaning is a function of the revelation you have about yourself. So, if something is not working and you suddenly say, oh, I have failed at this thing, congrats to you. But in the eyes of God, have you actually failed? Because scripture has said, all things work together for good. All things work together for good. All things. So the things that look like they are a stretch for you actually is supposed to be working for your good. So how can you call that thing failure when it's supposed to work for your good? David was anointed king already. Imagine there's an election in the country and someone already won the election. This is going to be the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And 1 year down the line, 2 years down the line, he's not in the seat of power. He's not in Aso Rock. He's probably somewhere in his village. That's exactly what happened in the case of David. Imagine you being in that situation where you've been anointed king. So you've been anointed a successful man. Your marriage has been anointed a model marriage for marriages in the world. Your health has been anointed the definition of what a healthy person can be like. Your career has been anointed the definition of how a successful career can be like. And then for years and seasons and this and that, it doesn't look like you are getting anywhere close to what you know they are supposed to be. It doesn't mean you failed. It doesn't mean you failed. Life works like in a sinusoidal wave. It's up and down, up and down, up and down. So if you define the quality of your life by only the up times, your definition is wrong. And am I saying this morning that you should embrace mediocrity or just sit down there and not do anything, just fold your arms because life is like that? No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. Because despite David having been anointed king, he still went around doing his job. He did not feel dejected and just said, but the Lord has anointed me. Why am I not on the throne? No. Jesus knew he was going to come die for the world. And for the first 30 years of his life, he was nowhere near that. Nowhere. He knew that he was going to be the savior, but his name was not even mentioned by anybody. And I'm sharing these stories of people who we look up to because, I saw a skit one day and they were asking people, so which Bible character do you want to be like? And people were mentioning interesting names. And I just like, if only you guys know what these guys went through, you rethink what you are saying. Like, you want to be like them. You want to be like David, really? Or you want to be like Joseph? So the bottom line of what I'm saying today to you is that you are not a failure actually. You're just going through a phase, a season of your life. And every phase of your life is a preparatory phase for the next phase of your life. So if during this time when things look like they are not working well, you sit down and you are dejected, instead of you to be strategizing and planning and learning and harnessing your skills and honing you would have wasted the opportunity to prepare for the next phase of your life. Guess what? When that next phase comes, you will not be eligible for it. Why? Because you are not prepared for it. Did you hear me? When that next phase appears, you won't even recognize it because you only recognize what you have the capacity for. Now, a lady called me recently and then she was lamenting about she not knowing what to do and all this. And I was just helping her understand it. Then I shared a story while I was explaining to her. So there's a place around Ojota called Olusosun. I don't know if you know that place. There are times when the place stinks. Even if you are driving and you have your window wound up, you will still somehow perceive. I wonder sometimes how people live so close to the place. But guess what? There are people who live so close to that place. It's even pop. I hear that Victor Osimhen, the Nigerian footballer, once lived or maybe even grew up around Olusosun. So that's to let you know that people live around there. People make their living around that place. But they are not really worried about fixing the smell problem. They are not worried about it. They are so used to it. Sometimes the reason you are feeling uncomfortable is because that challenge is trying to call out something from within you. So rather than you see it as a problem, see it as, something that you should be solving, not something you should be running away from. So a lot of people will pass Olusosun and just cover their nose and pass the place. But you cannot just, you literally are angry for the rest of your day. I dare tell you that maybe that place is calling out the PSP in you. Maybe something is in you that has to do with cleaning the environment, which is why you will not cover your nose. You are just angry that somebody is not doing it. Maybe you are the person supposed to be doing it. Is somebody listening to me this morning? You are not a failure. In fact, who told you are a failure? And if I can take one or two calls right now, and I ask you who told you you're a failure, I can bet that you're going to mention someone else aside yourself. Someone that has an entirely different life from you is the one who is telling you that you're a failure. Or even if the person has not told you with his mouth, his lifestyle is showing you that you are a failure. Forgetting that God made all of us differently. So you are using the yardstick of someone else's life, to define your own life. Is that wisdom? Is that wisdom? Sometimes the biggest problem we have is just the comparison problem. Comparison problem. And when Apostle Paul wrote to the Corinthians, he said, and he explained an important principle along the line of, he said, but they were measuring themselves by themselves and comparing themselves among themselves. And what did he say? He said they were not wise. They were not wise. So you comparing yourself to another person, even though the person is within your tribe and is doing what you are supposed to have been doing too, it still tells you that you are not wise. The only comparison you should have is against yourself. Am I better than I was yesterday? Would I be better tomorrow than I am today? 1 year down the line, would I be in a better position, better situation, better health, better marriage, better this than I currently have today? That is what you should be comparing, not against someone else's life, who you really do not have details of what is going on in their lives. Because in the world we live in today, where everybody is doing well on social media, they show you the best part of their lives. You do not see. If someone comes and says, oh, my whole day in 30 seconds, and he highlights the best part of that day, merges it together, post on Instagram for you, post on TikTok for you, you look at that 30 seconds of the whole 24 hours the person has spent, and you are comparing to it. Is that not some level of foolishness? And no, I'm not insulting anybody this morning, because in truth, foolishness is just a state of mind. It's just a state of mind. So you've been married for 20 years, and it seems like you have a rough patch in your marriage, and you are comparing your marriage to some other people that you don't know what they are doing there. I was listening to Olakunle Shorinyo one day, and he said that it took him 7 years to understand how to manage his wife. 7 whole years. So that implied that for the first 7 years, for this man who is supposedly a successful man, by every standard you can think about it, but for the first 7 years of his marriage, he was having it tough, really difficult. Now someone is looking at him today now, enjoying his marriage and saying, oh, my wife is this, my wife or my husband is this, why can't you behave like this person? Oh God, do you know what this person has gone through? Do you know what he's going through? Do you know what he's having to deal with or manage to portray that front of, we are happily married? There is no two unions that are the same. None. So the person comes out and tells you that he's been happily married for 30 years. I dare say, tell the person that Yemi said, na lie. Yes, you can be happily married, but you cannot be happily married every second of the day. So if you are defining your marriage by someone else who doesn't obviously nobody can be happy every second of the day. Even you as a single person, right? You know that you are not persistently happy with yourself. There are times when you do things and you just wonder, what was I thinking? Now you get into a situation with someone, a union, and you expect that every second of the day the person acts right. Abba, that's one of the definitions of witchcraft. That is it. Apostle Paul said, but they measuring themselves by themselves and comparing themselves amongst themselves are not wise. So the reason you are thinking you are failing is because there is a standard outside you that you are comparing yourself to. And 2 Corinthians has just told you that if you do that, you are not wise. Are you getting me this morning? If you do that, you aren't wise. So you start up a business 1 year, 2 years down the line, it's not working, things look like they are not, and instead of you to sit back and look critically at the business and wonder, what is it that I'm doing wrong? Because really, most times it's about us, it's about you, it's about being self-honest, that you probably don't have the requisite knowledge for the level that you are aspiring to be or play at, or wrong timing, or whatever it is. But many a times we think someone somewhere is the one that is doing us. Well, I'm not exonerating that's a possibility, but that is not your problem. You only request obedience of others outside you when your own obedience is complete. So you only begin to look outside when you have looked inside comprehensively and you see that your own obedience is complete. You fulfilled all principles. You are eligible without any doubt for what you are asking for. Are you getting me this morning? So that business has not failed. You're just going through a rough patch. Or you just need to innovate. Because there's a popular phrase, innovate or die. Meaning you have to keep on thinking of new ways to make it work. New ways to make it work. So the thing that brought you here, the thing that made you successful up until this point, may not just make you successful going forward. So if you're applying the same strategy, the same principle you've been applying in time past, it may not work from today going forward. So when something is not working out well for you, don't think somebody is somewhere doing you. First look inward and say, what am I doing that is making this thing difficult for me to do? So you are not a failure. And remove that word from your dictionary. Remove it from your vocabulary. Just see it as another way that this thing will not work. And at this point, you are now a step wiser than the person who has not done that thing that did not work, or the way that it did not work. The wise man once said, don't come to tell me how you succeeded or the things you did or something. Tell me the things you did that failed. Because the quality of your humanness, the quality of your person is not a function of the things you did that succeeded. It's also a function of the things that you failed at. Because it shows me that you've seen life. You've seen life. You are not a failure. Say to yourself this morning, I am not a failure. But more than that, now say to yourself, I am a success. I am a success. I saw a short clip of the popular comedian, what's her name again now? Riwo Pikin. How she was trying to lose weight about a year ago or something. I'm not sure about the date. And then she said she was working out, and then she was at recording some level of success gradually, and after a while she went back to what she used to be. She gained weight again, and it wasn't working for her. By the word, they would probably have defined her and say, oh, she was a failure or something. She failed at it. She couldn't lose weight and her health was deteriorating. But she understood that if you try this one way and it didn't work, try the other way. And that was what the young lady did. She tried the other way. And today, she's fitter for it. She's healthier for it. So if something is not working, don't sit down there. You're not an iroko tree. Get up off your seat and find another way to make it work. Keep trying and trying and trying until it works. And if it's not going to work, it's okay. Move on to the next thing that is going to work. Because the knowledge you are carrying to the next thing that is going to work is not the knowledge of someone who is starting for the first time. You are now equipped with knowledge of how it can fail. Things you are not going to do. And you are way better than the person who has not tried anything at all. Anything at all. Are you listening to me this morning? So it doesn't matter who you are or where you are. It doesn't matter how far you've gone the wrong way. It doesn't matter how long you've spent in that situation that you are not proud of. Some people don't even go to their family meetings anymore, their family functions or reunion or anything, because they think they have failed. Because they think that they cannot, like they will say in my own area, they cannot beg pay. No, you have not failed. They may have gone ahead of you, it's fine. The same way Joseph interpreted a dream, and the young man got out of prison and was living the life. 2 years later, before he remembered, the sudden Joseph that even helped him get out of prison. So that someone has gone ahead of you doesn't change a thing. Your own time is coming. And don't run away from the gathering of people because you think you have not succeeded. I know you are ashamed. I know. But guess why you are ashamed? Because you've done what? Compared yourself. to the other people who you think are doing well, and you are not. But I've come here to tell you this morning, in fact, to liberate you from that mental shackle you've put yourself in, that indeed you are not a failure. I need to shut down every voice in your head that is telling you a failure, including your own. Because the strongest voice you can hear is your own voice. So I'm talking to you right now. You can hear me from where you are, but I'm also hearing what I'm saying. And in fact, your own voice is the loudest. Because what you hear in your ears when you talk is not only what comes out of your mouth. There is a connection inside of you. So your ear can pick what you are saying from within and from without. So ensure that your own voice is the strongest voice, and your own voice is not the voice of condemnation. And I imagine a single person now who is thinking, I've failed so many times at my relationships. It seems marriage is not for me. I'm going to resign to my fate. Well, if that's your decision, but I've come to give you good news. That doesn't matter how many times you failed in the past, how many of those men jilted you, or how many of those women took your money and just chopped your money and left. It doesn't matter. Your own woman is coming. Your own man is coming. That will make all the sacrifice, all the heartbreaks worth it. Or like the way we say in recent time, all the breakfast worth it. So let your own voice be strongest in your ears. Shut your ears to the naysaying, to the voices that are trying to make you feel like you are not doing what you are supposed to be doing with your life. The same people that don't even know what they are doing. They're just fortunate to be getting it. And I hope God helps us to understand what I've just said this morning. That you are not a failure. You aren't. You aren't. And truthfully, this was not even the direction I was going to go this morning. Yeah, I was going to talk on failure, but it was in a totally different direction. But I just felt led to talk to someone this morning who is losing hope, who thinks it cannot be again. It will be for you. It will. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he.